What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Now this is going to be a very important video because I am going to be covering things like email marketing, sending broadcast campaigns, squeeze pages, things like that. So as you know, a regular CPA marketing flow looks something like this. We have a user, they go on maybe they're browsing Facebook and they basically stumble on your ad. Your ad leads them to the landing page. They browse the landing page, they click on the link, and they go to the offer. And then there's the checkout page, right? So we have this checkout page if they decide to buy the product. A lot of times we don't even have the landing page. So a lot of times it's just the Facebook ad, offer page, and checkout page. Me personally, I'm a big fan of landing pages, and I recommend them and I use them all the time because they help conversions a lot. Now, the thing about landing pages is that you can do a lot of interesting things with landing pages, right? If you have a landing page, you can have a mere landing page, but you can also have a squeeze page where before they're redirected to the offer, you can collect their email, you can have a quiz page, you can have some survey on the landing page, so you can have a lot of these cool elements where you're qualifying the lead and as well as getting their contact information, so that you can maybe send them a couple of other offers tomorrow or next week or down the road. Collecting emails is very, very important. And that's I call this like the next level marketing, right? Because typical marketing is like a middleman, right? You're just a middleman. You're buying traffic here and then you're selling the leads here, right? So if you're buying, clicks, or your lead per conversion is something like $1, but you're getting something like $3 for the particular lead, then you're going to be making like $2 in the difference. But an even better method is to actually collect an email, because then you have the customer, you have the actual customer information, then you could send them more offers. You could sell them, other things. You can have them, sales, discounts. You can create your own products and try to sell them. So it's very, very powerful, because if you don't have kind of customer information, customer leads, a database of emails, then you're just kind of operating blind. Because what happens when, the offer goes down, or you're banned from the affiliate network, or the Facebook bans you? So, what if your traffic source disappears? What if your, the offers, the affiliate network disappears? Then you're kind of sold, right? You're just a middleman. But when you're collecting emails, you actually own that user base, and you could do a lot of really cool things, right? You don't really need the traffic anymore, the traffic source anymore, and you are not really beholden to the particular offer or to particular affiliate network. So emails are very, very important. And unfortunately, a lot of marketers don't really collect emails. They're basically acting as middlemen, and they're making money while things are good. But then if something bad happens, they're kind of screwed up. They have to scramble and figure out a new business model. So I'm a big proponent of collecting emails. And the way I like to do it, right? I use various tools to do it. Right now, I'm using a tool called Thrive Architect, and I basically create things like quizzes and things like that. So here we have a sample landing page that I use for sweepstake offers. So this is a win $150,000 home makeover grand prize, and this basically leads them to a quiz. And when they finish the quiz, they are presented with something called a squeeze page, or an email opt-in page. And when they submit this information, they're redirected to a kind of a thank you page, which is this final landing page, where they're told they have a chance to win a certain prize, and then they can click on the link, and then only then they're redirected to the actual offer page. And so the way I set this up is that there's lots of ways of doing it. I use a tool called Thrive Quiz Builder, and I have 3 quizzes here. Now, this is just a sample quiz here. This is a real quiz that I used. It has 271 started, 217 finished. And this doesn't have a squeeze page. So if we edit this quiz, you can see that it has basically 3 elements. It has a splash page, has 3 questions, and a URL redirect. So this is not, I don't want to talk about this particular flow here. I want to talk about this one here, which has the squeeze page. So this is something called an opt-in gate, and you can click on manage that. You can edit that. You can edit the design. So any kind of page that collects emails, it needs access to something called like an email service provider. And in this case, I use an email service provider called ActiveCampaign. And ActiveCampaign is a great tool. It's one of several, but I've been using it for several years now. I've had good success with. So what you basically need to do is when you're doing this, you basically need to pick your mailing list. And I have several mailing lists here. And then you pick this, and then you can use a form. I'm not using any form. You can assign tags to this particular form. And what this means is that if you have different forms for your different email submit forms, you can assign a tag and say, hey, this is this, you know, this is, you know, you can assign a tag. So let's say this is a blue form, right? Maybe I have blue elements. I can call it blue. Or maybe I have a headline here, say, hey, give me your email in order to qualify, in order to see if you qualify for this sweepstakes offer, and then we can call it like that. So if I have different opt-in forms, I can basically assign a tag so that I know back in my backend system, in my actual ActiveCampaign dashboard, I can know where this user come from. So if I click on this, I have various form fields that I input, and I have my ActiveCampaign. And when they submit, they basically go in there. And this is what my ActiveCampaign looks like. Now, right now, I have several lists here, right, in this dashboard. There's some context here, and I have some other lists for different projects that I haven't used, haven't really started working on yet. So we have this home makeover. I have various contacts. We have a couple of other lists that I'm using for different projects, some buyer lists. I have some other ones for some new projects that I'm going to be working on. And then when they're submitted, you're going to see this contact information there. And then you can basically send them a campaign. Now, there are kind of two ways to send emails. You could send something, an automation, which happens after an event. So, for instance, let's say a user submits, they subscribe, and there's a flow, right? There's something called the flow. Basically, let's say they get on the emailing list to kind of have a gift, because in this case, their incentive is they are trying to go for the sweepstakes offer. But a lot of times you may have a website where you are perhaps giving out something called a lead magnet, right? So, you know, let's say there's a website, you're browsing, and, you know, you've seen those pop-ups that pop up from time to time, and maybe you're reading a blog article or something like that, and they basically tell you, hey, you know, would you like to get, 10 ways to, improve your site's ranking on Google or something like that. And you basically submit your name and email, and they give you this gift, and then you are basically opted in to the mailing list. And in that case, you could create something like an automation where you're essentially, you have maybe some steps, and you can even educate the user, right? You could send a course where every day you send them a new email and all of that. I don't really do a lot of automations for this particular kind of product. It does have a purpose to have these kind of automations. When you are selling a course or like a free course is very good. Let's say you have a site and you are selling SEO services. In this case, you can have a course. Hey, register and you get a 10-day free course. And every day you send them a new article or a new piece of content that they can read and learn. Day 1, you send them this. Day 2, you send them that. In that case, automation is really good. And then maybe on the last day, you can have an upsell and say, hey, if you are enjoying this course, click here to buy this product, a low time fee of only, whatever, $47 or something like that, or $27. And then if they buy it, now you've sold a course, and they're much more likely to buy something after they signed up. So you can do something like this. In this kind of situation where we're doing affiliate marketing, especially CPA offers, there's no need to send any gifts or anything like that. What I like to do is I basically do is I create a new mailing list, right? I can add a list, and every time I have a new product or like a project that I'm working on, I can basically add a list, and I can create that list for that specific audience. So let's say I am promoting a MaxBounty campaign, this campaign right here. What I do is I first create a list, right? I can add a list, and I can type the list name, list URL, list description. And this is important because when they get get an email from you, you need to have an unsubscribe link at the bottom. And then they need to know how they ended up on your list, right? Especially with these CPA offers. They're trying to maybe go in for the running or to win a certain prize, and then you add them to your list. So they need to know that this is from the list. So they don't click like spam. You don't really want that. The best case scenario is they click unsubscribe. The worst case scenario is they mark your email as spam, and you don't want that. So you basically create a new list. Call it whatever the campaign. So for this case, I have a home makeover list that I'm collecting leads. And what happens is when they are subscribed to this list, I don't really do anything. But then later on, not only will I make a sale when they actually go through this and actually go to the offer, but I may send them an email later on. So this is something called a campaign, right? And the way you do that is you click on this campaigns tab, where you can basically create a campaign here, and I have some other campaigns that I'm using, and you can label that campaign. I like to basically create, my labeling is something like the name of the month, the name of the day, and then I call it something like this. Now, the campaign name, they're not going to be able to see the campaign name. This is for your internal information only, and you can create an automated campaign, autoresponder, date-based, RSS trigger, split testing. I just like to use a standard campaign. I create a campaign. I pick the list. I have a design. I just use a basic design. And that's it. Then I click send. And that's all I have. And then this is called a broadcasting campaign. And it really works well because now you have the email there, right? And this is how you can actually lose money on the front end. This is what a lot of super affiliates are like. They actually lose money on the front end, right? And what I mean by a front end is when you're buying traffic, right, on Facebook or Bing or Google AdWords, you have a certain amount of money that you're using to acquire this customer. So this part, you're spending money to acquire this customer, and this is customer acquisition costs, and whatever it may be. In this case, if you have a sweepstakes offer, your customer acquisition costs are going to be relatively low because you're not acquiring a customer who is willing to spend $1,000 on something, right? This is not like an insurance, policy quote or like a dentist or something like that. It's basically these are like people that want free stuff. So in this case, it's going to be fairly cheap to acquire this customer. So maybe you acquire this customer and the customer. What I mean by customer is the email, right? You're basically acquiring that email. And I've acquired emails for like 20 cents, 10 cents, sometimes 30 cents. That's your customer acquisition cost. Now, you may make $2, right? You may make $2. Let's say this offer used to be actually $2. For some reason, it's $1 now. But let's say it's $1, right? And you're acquiring that customer for 30 cents or 20 cents, which is absolutely normal for a sweepstake offer where they just have to enter their email. There's no guarantee they may even buy anything. So let's say you're promoting an offer, something like this, right? Where this isn't actually buying offer. This is not a CPA offer. It's actually like it's a product offer, right? They need to actually buy a product, and this product costs anywhere from $50 to $100 or even more. And then you get various leads, right? This is your bounty. So this is not an offer where they need to submit their email. This is an offer where they need to actually buy something. And this offer has an EPC of 48 cents, which is pretty good. And so this offer is definitely making money for some people. And so in this case, your customer acquisition costs are going to be definitely higher than 10 cents because you're going to be spending a lot more to acquire a valuable customer. So maybe you'll need to get, let's say each click is like 20 cents. You'll need maybe 20 of these clicks, right? Or, 50 of these clicks just for that person to actually come out and convert. So let's say your customer acquisition cost is $5 and you're making, let's say, $20 or something like that. So you're still profitable on the front end, but let's say your customer acquisition cost is $20 and you're making $20. You break even, but the beauty of this system is that you can create campaigns and you could send them more offers later on. So once you build this email list, right, like I have, you can actually send them more and more stuff. And this is what super affiliates do. And this is why it's very, very important. And the way you do it is by you create this something called an opt-in gate. and you can do it. There are all kinds of tools to do it, right? I have this kind of quiz tool where I'm creating quizzes, and I have a splash page, 3 questions, and I have an opt-in gate, which is optional. I don't really need that, but I do want to collect their emails, especially now. This is much more important in offers where you're actually selling a product. So not obviously if you're collecting emails, it's going to be your conversion rate is not going to be very high, as opposed to where you're actually getting customers who are willing to buy something. So a really good example of that is e-commerce, right? I used to run a bunch of drop shipping stores back in the day, and you always have their email information, right? Because you're not sending them to a third party. You're basically doing everything. You're fulfilling, you're doing customer support, you're doing everything. And as a result, you amass, a big email list. And then, like, let's say, Black Friday rolls around, or New Year's, or, any kind of holiday, you could send a big mass email and say, hey, 20% off our best-selling product. And while not everybody is going to buy the product, a good amount, if you have a relatively large list, a good amount of people will buy the product, and you're going to make a decent amount of money. I have known some people that have 50,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers. So even like, let's say you have a 50,000 member list, and even 1% buys the product, which is, still a low number. So let's say 1% buys it, and 1% of 50,000 is 500. So if that product is, let's say, maybe you're selling, $300 products or something like that, which is not unheard of if you're selling high ticket items on drop shipping or something like that. You're gonna have a really nice payday. And this is the same thing with CPA offers, right? It's the same exact strategy, right? And that is why it's very important to be collecting emails, right? I'm a big proponent of collecting emails, whether you're doing kind of the CPA offers, like the one I showed you previously, or whether you're doing kind of these e-commerce offers. There's also, they also have something like e-commerce stuff right here, right in MaxBounty. So if you want, you could promote e-commerce products, right? There's anti-snoring septum, safe alarm, fit energy socks. If you're promoting any kinds of these offers, you would be crazy not to collect emails, because you're basically, you're selling a product. So if somebody converts on this product, or at least clicks on your ad, they're a valuable prospect. They're a lot more valuable. Somebody who clicks on this ad, even if they don't actually buy like a $40 product, they're much more valuable than somebody who clicks on an ad for, to win a sweepstakes, right? Because, a person who clicks on the ad, submits their NEPA for a sweepstakes, they may never buy anything in their lives, right? They might never even pull out a credit card and buy any of your offers. But a person who at least registers for this, or at least clicks on your ad, or at least, goes through the funnel and submits an email, even if they don't buy something at the end of the day, right? So let's say they click on the ad, they go to landing page, submit the email, and they click on the offer, they go to checkout, and they don't buy anything. This email is still super valuable. Okay, it's still super valuable. And then when you're collecting these emails, you have a list, you have a buyer's list. If somebody bought it, that person is very valuable. But even if they didn't buy it, doesn't matter. No, it doesn't really, you don't really need to care if they went through this funnel and actually bought it, right? You still have the email. Then maybe in 2 days after they signed up, you can say, hey, would you be interested in this product? Or, hey, there's a good offer for this product. And you could send them, daily emails. You could send them weekly emails with offers. It's up to you. And these are called broadcast emails. And an active campaign, you basically create a campaign. Different tools call them different names. Sometimes these are called broadcasts. Sometimes these are called campaigns. Here they're called a campaign. And you can basically schedule these campaigns. You could even split test campaign. You could schedule them. And it works really well, right? Because now you have an email list. And as they say, there's a really good saying in marketing, in affiliate marketing, the money is in the list. And I cannot tell you how true that is. It truly is. The money is truly in the list, because if something happens to you, maybe Facebook bans you, or MaxBounty bans you, or somebody bans you, who knows, right? You still have your active contacts. You still have a buyer's list that you could sell them over and over again. This is how you really win with Facebook. This is how you make multiple money with kind of Facebook over and over again from that one lead, instead of basically giving them away and never being able to contact them again. So this is super, super important, and I'm going to be talking a lot more about this. I just wanted to give you like a quick introduction to email marketing. And I'm going to be talking a lot about kind of creating campaigns, using tools like ActiveCampaign to create campaigns. And I'm going to be covering a lot about this. So I just wanted to give you like a heads up. This is super important, and it's actually very easy to do, right? I mean, I have this tool, and I can go create a quiz. I can create a page, and I can basically have an email opt-in. A lot of these tools, these landing page builders, they have basically built-in functionality for creating opt-in page. You basically create an opt-in page, and all you need to do is basically you just need to specify what kind of fields you want. So I have name and email. Now name, I think, is required. You don't really need to make name required. Email is obviously required. The reason I make name required is that when I send them an email, I want to say, hey, John or James. I want to personalize it a little bit, but that is not a required step. Obviously, you could just send an email like, hey, etc. You don't even need to address them by the first name. But I like to have name, your best email, and that's kind of the forms I use. And then after successful submissions, there's a bunch of steps, right? They could go to the next step in the quiz. But if you're doing it as a standalone kind of submission, you're gonna have more options, right? You could redirect them to another page. You can have kind of this submission little message that they submitted successfully. In this case, it's obviously the next step in the quiz, because this is part of the this quiz builder that I'm using. But if you're not using this as part of the quiz, you're gonna have different options. So creating this is super simple. I mean, you would be surprised how simple it is. You don't even need to paste any HTML code from from your mail sending tool. You don't really need to do that. You had to do it like 5-10 years ago, but nowadays this is all built in, right? You have these tools. You just need to specify your provider. In this case, I have ActiveCampaign, and you basically configure it in the settings. You can configure another provider, but I really like ActiveCampaign. I've had good success with it. And so that is what I use. And you could add a connection. You can edit form elements here. You can actually edit the styling and all of these things. You could basically customize as much as you want, and that's it, right? It's automatically added. This flow works, right? Facebook ad, landing page, email submit, and then it goes to the offer page, checkout page. And even if they don't buy anything here, you still have the email. This is why it's super, super powerful. All right, guys. So I definitely recommend you guys to do it. If you're not collecting emails, you should do it. This is like the first rule of marketing. Anytime you're creating content, blogs, or videos or anything, you should be collecting emails. And you should be able to have access to that, to the emails, because you're basically acquiring these customers. So at least you should be able to have their contact information. All right, so I'm gonna make future videos. I'm gonna go into greater detail on ActiveCampaign. I'm gonna show you some of my campaigns, how I've grown the list from basically nothing to tens of thousands of subscribers. I'm gonna show you that in the future videos, but I just wanted to give you a quick introduction to email marketing when it comes to MaxBounty or pretty much any other CPA network. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video and you want to see more of these videos, definitely click the like button below the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, marketing videos, email marketing, email campaigns, anything surrounding kind of this online, make money online type stuff, definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be making a ton of videos, and I'm going to go into greater detail in each of these kind of topics that I've been covering. And definitely have a look at some of the previous videos. I've covered a lot of things about MaxBounty and things like that. And that's kind of all I have for you today. If you enjoyed it, definitely subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you real soon.